Hi everybody, it's Dee here. Today's date is Sunday the 23rd of June and I'll be looking at the astrological weather for this week. This week is a lot quieter than last week, which we'll go into a little bit. There are three things that I want to talk about this week. First one happens on Monday, which is the moon conjunct Neptune square to Venus. Then we'll be talking about Mercury moving into Leo, what that means there, and then later in the week we shall be looking at the Sun sextile Uranus. Now then, so I'd be interested to hear, and I know I think it was Kirsten the Butt Up about what's going on this week. Well, I'm sure most people would be thinking, what went on last week? From about Tuesday onwards, it was very heavy weather, astrologically, and say going back to that Mars opposition to Saturn and Pluto, and Mercury opposition to Saturn and Pluto. So there was a lot of feelings going down, and those could have been angry feelings, words being said, and a lot of the it's not fair, why has it always happened to me, kind of thing, as well. And just reinvigorating old patterns of behaviour, and thinking, well, why am I still going around in this way? What is it that I need to change in my life? What do I need to do to make things different? And thinking about what the triggers were to those incidents, if they happened, those feelings, what kind of feelings were they? Were you feeling angry? Were you feeling discontented with things? Or were you more on the side of other people having those feelings and things, and you were trying to be on the side of rationality and systems and Saturn and keeping things under the status quo? So think about where you stood on those issues, and then start to unpack those as to what things you need to change. And some of the notes that I put down for myself were to do with boundaries, which is obviously a very Saturn thing, and looking at where we need to have clearer boundaries. And it's not about blocking people out of your life. It's about saying, I love you as you, but I am not allowing this behaviour. I'm not putting up with this behaviour anymore, with people or with certain aspects of your life. It's just like, I'm not having this anymore. I'm not going to go down this road anymore, or with this family member, with this job, with this set of circumstances. I've had enough of this. And it's sort of like understanding that you as a human are only doing the best you can in the moment, as how things stand at the moment. So not allowing other people to bullying you into thinking that you should know better, or that you could somehow be different. You only can be as you are at this present time. But what you can do is look at, well, how I might be doing the best I can at the moment, but maybe there's things I can do to make myself better. And some of those might be removing people from your life. Some of it might be removing a job that no longer works for you, a set of circumstances that no longer work for you. It's like saying, well, the only way that I can be better and I can make myself happier and make other people happier with me is by changing this, this and this. And that might take time to do that, but you've got to start somewhere. And obviously these feelings will be repeated on several occasions over the next few months. When the sun gets to that 18-degree point, it will also oppose Saturn and Pluto, and you've also looking at the eclipse on the 2nd as well, and the full moon, I think it's the 26th, I'll have to check that one for you. So these lessons, they will keep repeating and repeating, and it's just about being able to unpack that and see that. And I think this week allows you the palate cleanse, I will call it. This allows you the chance to get out of the heat of those energies. And I think with Mars being there last week, there was a lot of heat in that. I'd say that potential for angry words, to feel just discontented and angry about a lot of things, even if it wasn't directly at people. You know, that kind of screaming, it's not fair, I'm sure, will have come up for some people. So palette cleansing. The first one I want to go to is looking at Venus square the moon and Neptune. And you might think, well, that doesn't sound like it's going to be nice. And I was discussing with somebody this week about my thoughts on Neptune and the squares of Neptune, and the fact that I actually think they're quite positive things. Because Neptune is otherworldly, and by its very nature, it's that kind of spiritual element, it's that kind of daydreaming. It's not real. But it helps us provide the creative vision to make it real. And I think that the only thing that you can do to stop it from remaining in a daydream state or just an idea state is to act upon it. And if you are too contented within your daydreaming and in your land of ideas in your head, you will never manifest those into any kind of thing substantial on this earthly plane. So by having squares, it kind of turns those dreams of visions into a bit of a nightmare for you, which is actually good, because then you can do something about it. It wakes you up. You still had that dream, but it's woken you up, and you can now do something about it. So I feel that way about this particular transit this week, is that it makes us look at what we value, because Venus is about what we value and what we think is important, whether that's in terms of relationships with people or the items that we value in our life or the beliefs that we have in our life. And it's saying, does that match up with the ideal that we want? And because it's a square, it's going to require work. So it might get you thinking about, well, I'm dreaming of this. This is what I would like from my life. This is the kind of person that I feel as if I want in my life. And then how does that match up with reality? Maybe that it doesn't at all. Maybe your values are not aligned with that. Maybe the person who you're with doesn't align with that. And it's like, well, how can I bring those two things together? So there's going to be compromise on both sides. If this person that I'm currently with does not satisfy me in terms of my higher ideals and what I believe that a romantic relationship or any kind of relationship should be, is it that I need to be able to get out of this relationship, or do we need to work more closely together to be able to align those things so that we can then be happy in our relationship with each other? So those are the kind of things that it's going to stir up for you. So if you feel that your value system is not matching up with your belief system, it's like, well, what can I do to change that? What things can I do in my life to make those things manifest themselves into existence? So like I say, it could be about changing your relationships. It could be new aesthetics in your house. You might want to change your surroundings so that they reflect more about what you would like. It's just about all the things that you love, things that bring you pleasure. And it could be that you want to look out for new things, that you just maybe want to change a few of the things that exist so that they align more together. So the Venus-Neptune situation is going to continue for the rest of the week, but I think the most intense feeling will be when the moon's there in Pisces, sort of amplifying that emotion. So that's there at the beginning of the week. And then on Wednesday, Mercury moves into Leo. And so you have a shift of energy for your communication and your mental processes. And Mercury doesn't really like the waters of Pisces, because if you try to listen to anything underwater, it's going to get distorted. And I think equally finding the words to say when Mercury is in Cancer can be very difficult. it might come out wrong. You maybe express it in, you know, not a very clear way. But when now that it's moving into Leo this week, it allows you to tell your truth, to be able to say, this is me. Because Leo is all about this is me, this is who I am. And owning that microphone, if you like, being that performer, being standing up centre stage. So that shift into Leo will be maybe allow us the chance to put into words some of these thoughts and feelings that got stirred up last week, that maybe you just reacted to and got emotional about, but weren't able to really logically process and digest and sort of make a plan for what I want to change. So that gives you that breath of fresh air this week, that bit of fire energy that will clear away some of the murkiness that's been around this last week. And when we get the Mercury retrograde, which starts in a couple of weeks' time, the Mercury will obviously be going through Leo, and then it will dip back then into Cancer. So it might take a couple of goes to make sense of what's been going on for you with a lot of this deeper stuff. So while the Mercury is in Leo, write things down, make sense of things, try to make sense, try to have some kind of logical order, think about you, because Leo wants you to think about you, what's important to you, and to sort of make some kind of sense or plan for where you want to be heading, so that when the Mercury does dip back into Cancer, you may be able to finally understand these emotions and these feelings and put those into some kind of logical sense for you. So it's saying that this is going to take a couple of goes, but make the most of that early dip into Leo to start getting some kind of sense of where you need to be heading. And this is going to be helped along a lot by Friday's sextile with the Sun and with Uranus. And obviously Uranus likes to shake things up, it likes to change things. And with it being sextile to the Sun, and say I've said before, sextiles to me mean energising. It's kind of like a good energy, a good positive energy, it vibes things up. And because it's touching that Cancer point again, it's like, say, again, it points the way to the future. Where can I be heading? Where are the new ideas? Where are the changes that I can make in my life? So even though Cancer can be very reticent to change and move sideways about doing everything, it's like the sparks of electricity are going on with this Uranus energy going, think about this, try this, go and have that little bit of an adventure. You dip your toe in, you might find you like it. So it's all about looking to the future this week instead of looking back to the past, which I think was what a lot of what was going on last week was, like, say, that horrible headachy weather that was going on that just brought up a lot of thoughts and feelings about past behaviours and things you wanting to change and things you put into bed. And, you know, it's it's just about now moving that forward into the future and seeing where you would like to be heading. Even though you might not be manifesting some of these things directly as yet, you might be able to see the seeds of hope and the beginnings of ideas and plans as to where could be better for you in the long run, and where you can be less stymied with the systems and the structures that are in place that maybe have been holding you back. So yeah, let me know your thoughts and opinions on what's been going on. I'd be really interested to see people's opinions about the heavy weather that was there last week. And if indeed you do get some kind of inspiration this week and find some clarity, make sense of some of this very emotional weather that's around, to help you then move forward. So thanks a lot for listening. Really appreciate the likes and things. I'd love to have some more comments. Say anything that anybody asks me I can bring up and look at, and if there's anything specifically that you want to talk about, please let me know and I will add these into the videos. All right, thanks a lot then. Bye.